Okay, back. Gonna be real. I would rather be dealing with skelepounds or skelekilos than skeletons right now. Maybe skeleliters. I could go for a skeleliter. Maybe a skelecubic foot. Can I get a skelecube? Cubic foot? No? I guess the only time you can get a skelecubic foot is in a voxel game like Minecraft that has them.
I can't do that yet.
I'll be here all week. Don't forget to tip your waitress. Ah, good grief. There we go. Victory. Slowly but surely. Take out the archers. Oh, wow, there's more of them over here than I thought. Nice. Okay, cool. Looks like mostly melee fellas now. For now. For the present moment. Oh. Yeah, I figured as much. Just a mob of angry ectoplasm. Okay. I knew it. That's why I stopped short before going in that room. I just had a feeling. But yeah, sure enough. Long hallways are fantastic. I love long hallways. Give me more corridor, please. I love lengthy liminal spaces. I should go back and get that XP. Alright. Alright. Get the tiny loot. Small loot. I ain't stepping in that. I don't care if I've already been through it. I ain't risking it. It's enough of a headache dealing with those stupid things as it is, let alone having them all doubled, seemingly. I really cannot overstate how properly named this floor of this dungeon is. Man. Ugh. Goodness gracious. Okay. Yeah, I kind of figured something like that would happen.
Can't do that yet.
Let's just go ahead and lure these guys way back here and see if I can thin them out away from the priest. Yeah, just keep walking towards me. Come on, buddy. Come on, fellas. This way, this way, this way. Step right up. Claim your prize. Yep. 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 Yep, yep. Now watch, there's gonna be way more than that once I actually step into the room or something. Wow, I'm shocked. Now, the thing is... Well, the last one was aptly named. Surely this one won't be as aptly named, huh? Let's like tiptoe into the room. Let's just clear out as much as we can before we step into the room and trigger whatever horrid, awful, miserable, literally, you know, miserable, in keeping with the name, trap awaits us. Ah, my ear. Okay, like I said, just fire off some shots. Let's avoid the center of that room. Try to clear out the areas around it. Stick to the walls, just in case there's anything in the center that comes crawling out trying to kill us. Okay, that's that side. Okay, let's clear out this side. That's got a thing in the middle, so definitely want to avoid stepping in there until enough has been cleared that stuff stops trying to kill us from within it. This is what I should have done in the last floor. Yeah, like on the last floor, I should have done this. I see that gargantuan in the back. Yeah, I see you, pal. Go ahead and pip, pip, pip. There we go. I'm going to barrel stuff him. Just hope it works. Now look, you may think that I would feel silly if I stepped into the middle of this room and nothing came popping out. You would be gravely mistaken, because I would appreciate that it was an unnecessary level of caution, right? Like, I'm not the kind of guy who feels stupid for stuff like that. Ugh. I mean, you've seen enough so far of this dungeon to know why I'm acting like this. Like, why I'm sticking to the walls, why I'm trying to clear as much as I can without activating any stupid monster traps. Oh, that's a hero unit. I don't want any of that. Not yet. Get rid of those because they're distractions. Okay. Yeah, okay. It's not that bad, but it is a thing that happens. It's like defusing a bomb, except instead of shrapnel and explosive force, it's just a bunch of bony losers. Okay, cool. So this is a cleared room. Now time to step in the middle of this room. Yeah, okay. Again, not as bad as the last floor, but still valid. You see what I mean? I wasn't wrong. It's just the severity wasn't really on... It didn't really rise to the level of the last... Sorry, I was scratching my noggin. But yeah, it didn't really rise to the level of the last floor's stupid traps, perhaps. But, you know, it still was a thing. So that's these two rooms cleared. I want to clear the one over here. For maximum breathing room. 2 gargantuans. Okay. Okay, cool.
That skill's not ready.
I'm glad they both went for the bone prison there. Don't tell me there's a skeletal priest out of... There is, isn't there? Yes. Ugh, that's disgusting. Ugh. Well, whatever. We're getting through it. We'll get through it. Just trying to get this over with faster. Because again, all these like infinite add stuff does is just make it take way longer than it should. So if barrel stuffing will help circumvent that, the better. Now time to see if there's any traps to trigger. I just want to make sure if there's any kind of a trap here that it gets taken care of, because I want to have maximum maneuverability for this floor. Now then, 4 additional points, 2 levels, excellent. That is... Hold on. There we go. Perfect. I like making that noise. Just barrel stuff that guy. We'll get through this together, you and I. We'll overcome. We'll break on through. Who makes that kind of decor, right? Like, is that really appropriate for an undercity to have snake lanterns? Ah. You know what happened. Okay. Alright. So yeah, that's just not... One by one, ghost by skeleton, monstrosity by gargantuan, we will get through this. These skeleton spoons will not stand. You're next, pal, Mr. Skeleton Priest. This looks like a room where something nasty's gonna come popping out of the middle of it as soon as I try to step across it. I'm shocked that didn't happen. Well, I can't say that I was surprised by that, or disappointed. It's like how ambushes in Dark Souls 2 are so common that they stop being ambushes and start being expecteds. You know? Okay. That's an odd statue. Yeah, like, if you look at that statue, it's like, okay, why would you put a guy who looks important basically being like, oh yeah, in front of what is ostensibly a sewage pipe? I mean, good on them that their sewage is still working this many years in the future, right? That's an accomplishment. I feel like you can really measure a society by how long their sewage remains operating without maintenance. If your sewage system can, if your society, your civilization, if their sewer system can last, like, work properly for 3 centuries with no maintenance, you really did something. You did something worthy of note. Like, that's the real test. Do you have a sewer system that can operate autonomously without maintenance for centuries? And by the way, I don't know why I'm shooting those guys. I saw this idiot behind them. Emphasis on saw. He was past tense in my mind the moment that I saw him. My ear. I wonder if my ear getting itchy is correlated at all with me making stupid quips. I'm not going to start tracking that, and I'm not going to stop making stupid quips. I'm excited to see if the YouTube auto captioning turns quips into clips. Brawlgar the Flame Watcher Ever Burning. Is that what that said? No, just Brawlgar the Flame Watcher Burning. That, did you see that? That is like 20,000 health healed in one heal. That is stupid. I'm not gonna stop being upset by that. That thing was healed 20 grand health by one errant skeletal priest is just gross. Ugh. Alright, I gotta get out of there and try to recoup my HP before going back in. I like how he's going back while his stupid ads are still trying to kill me. I prefer that, honestly. It's potion economy through this. There we go. Again with the skeletal priests. Hopefully this will be the last of this floor, because I'm pretty sure the next floor is just the boss. Zarthuzalan? Which, by the way, he is super bad. I'm not really sure how well One Button Man's gonna deal with him. Like how well he'll be able to deal with him, I meant to say, at his current level. But getting down there to him is a good sign. Even if it took a couple deaths. Yeah, okay. Alright. We're just about there. Oh, come on. A storm revenant, huh? Okay. I honestly haven't been paying that much attention whenever it comes to how many of them I've seen, but I feel like the storm revenant's less common for some reason. It's probably not, I just feel that way. Again, what's with the random statues of this guy? What's that in his hand? Well, whatever. Hey! By the way, that's a combat one. This is gonna suck. This is going to suck a lot. And of course, the fella from the next room wants to get in on this. I knew I should have cleared the next room.
Can't do that yet.
Watch, there's a skeletal priest. I'm calling it now. Okay, I'm glad to see I was mistaken, but you've seen why it's not that. It's not exactly an improbable thing to have occurred. Alright, a flame revenant. That's not that bad. Hopefully he's the last of the stuff. Well, clearly he's not. But hopefully these guys are the last of the stuff out of that shrine. Of course! The skeletal priest. Because how else would a nearly dead enemy go from 3,000 to 4,000 HP way back up to 20 grand? How else would that happen? That's clearly a necessary service. Alright, and with that, I think that's the Hydra, not the Hydra, the Kraken done, yeah. Plus 15% crit damage ain't really, I mean, I don't know how to feel about that, but I do know how I feel about 4% physical resistance, and that's pretty dope. Frostburn damage. I mean, yeah, I'm not really in on that. What I need again is the purple stuff. Oh, I need purple to get to that. Okay, well, here's a cool trick. We'll get to that in a moment, but there is a cool trick. I said here's a cool trick as if I was going to go do it right away, and actually I might. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do it now. If my phone would stop turning itself off, even though I have that quote-unquote feature off. Specifically so that it won't do that. Technology, ain't it great? Isn't it wonderful? I think it is. You know, one bad apple actually doesn't ruin the whole bunch. Whenever you're talking about things that aren't apples. Okay, well, I mean, at this point I almost don't want to bother trying to keep the, quote, rare stuff. I guess I'll save it for now. Like, I'll continue to put rare stuff up, but... Required Spirit 368, huh? Okay. Yeah, I don't like seeing required insert here and not meeting it of any variety. Elemental burn, frost burn. Yeah, but that takes down my resistances quite a bit. You know. I like my resistances where they're at, if only because so far they serve me well. I mean, I still need chaos resistance from something, but we're a ways off from that being like an urgent need, thankfully. But it is a need. It is an important one. It's pretty important. Respected, huh? That's honored. Fire damage. I'm not a fan of that. What else is there here that I could buy? An empowered relic. 2% of attack damage converted to health. Well, I like the relic that I have, so I don't think I really want that. Used in amulets. Yeah, that's useless for us. Another component. I'm not really big on retaliation damage. 16% aether resistance is okay. I would love it if that were chaos damage, though. Again, it may seem like I'm obsessing over the chaos damage, but there's a good reason for it, because the guys who do chaos damage, the Chthon cult, they do a ton of chaos damage. It gets kind of ludicrous. And I forgot to do the thing. So here's a cool fact about how the constellations work. As far as I know, they still work this way.
I am pleased my knowledge of... I'm afraid troubled memories can cloud the mind and...
Anyway, we're gonna ignore that lady.
Clear your mind of regrets.
I normally don't, but like, she just basically covers stuff we already kind of know. Okay, so here's the thing. We require 5 of each for this. We require 1 for that, for the lizard. 1 for the fox. So if we take these out, we still have the dependencies, right? So you can get your initial necessary investment from the crossroads and then take it back out. Once you have enough justifying constellation bonuses for the ones that you already have. Because look, we still have 5 Eldritch, 7 Primordial, so we still meet the affinity requirements for all of them. Now, what I'm going to do with this knowledge is figure out what, again, I want to put points into. Sorry. Now, the thing about that knowledge is that what I want to look at is we need purple. And a decent amount of it, too. So the owl gives 5 purple. What else does the owl give? Well, I guess I'll have to look in the actual menu. Oh, what the ooh. Yeah, okay, I guess we're getting the bird. The bird's the word today. Yeah, buddy. Plus 50% to internal trauma with 50 duration, bleeding with duration, burn, frostburn, electric. This is perfect. This big bird is perfect. And it's only 4 as well. So we get that, we can immediately go into the Hydra. And you know what? Like, I know that I also need a red to go along with it. Technically speaking. But we're just going to pull the same trick, where once we get the bird filled out, we're going to take that point out of Crossroads, the purple of Crossroads, and then we're going to put it into the red of Crossroads. And then we're going to get the Hydra, and then once the Hydra is complete, we'll have the full constellation justification from its own complete constellation bonus. So yeah, we're just going to keep playing hot potato with the Crossroads devotion point. And that's how we're going to square this circle. Because that bird is going to give us a stupendous upgrade. I mean, honestly, I did not know that did that. I feel stupid. Like, that's good on Hydrate as well. I'll just put that out there. Like, that's good on my other one button guy that I have at the moment. You know, the other one-button veteran guy, who I'm basically using as the practice run, if you will, ahead of recording with One Button Man. Yeah, wow, goodness, I kind of need to think that over, honestly. Also, I need to take One Button Man down here to get that shrine. Now, as far as dealing with the big bad himself, Zarthuzalan, I thought you had to deal with him to get that shrine, and since you don't, if he's too much of a hassle, we're hightailing it out of here. Like, I came here for the shrine, I don't really care about killing him right now. And he is a murderous problem. He is very, very, very bad news. Level 41, that's great. Okay, we're already off to a bad start. So the thing about Zarthuzalan is that he is a wizard, kind of. He's going to be doing wizard stuff that's very hard to deal with, and he's also going to have a ton of ads. Okay. Alright, well, got the priests at least, I think. I don't know, I mean, if he, I'll put it this way, if he summons priests as part of his ads, we're not doing this. That's just flat. Not yet, we're not, anyway. We'll come back in, like, 20 levels, and that's not a joke. I want to think that he doesn't, like, outright summon priests, because that would be so stupid and busted, I can't imagine that they would do that for a boss. And I don't remember him doing that, more importantly. Come on. Yeah, I don't remember if he has, like, if he has the ability to summon ads past the opener, like, if that's it. I guess he does, but it's not that bad. I mean, it's kind of bad, but they're not that bad. This is just gonna take forever. Oh, good grief! Yeah. Yeah, we can come back later. We got the shrine, you've seen what he does. We'll come back later. That's... Yeah. Now, the problem is that it takes a while to walk through the Broken Hills. Like, longer than it would take to just go backwards in the dungeon to get to where we were at in the Broken Hills, so... Let me... motion sickness warning. Okay. Sorry about that, folks, but, you know, it's just like the easiest way to reorient to... Ah! Here! It's just the easiest way to reorient to, you know... Goodness. To the minimap. You know what I was trying to say. It's the easiest way to reorient to the minimap. Okay, and we just... Alright, cool, we'll just go around. Now, with all that done, like I said, you see the actual reason for coming here, which is to get the shrine. Killing Zarthuzalan isn't really that big of a deal. In the sense, what I mean is, it's like it's not really that big of a deal if you can't kill him. Like, don't worry about it. Wait, how do I get... Oh, I'm seriously, like, not great sometimes at paying attention and being able to derive from the mini-map where I'm supposed to go. But yeah, the good news is that with that, that's like the hardest thing for us to do. Just out of the way. That's the hardest thing that we could do here, out of the way. And that's also, thank goodness, I do believe, the end of the bone zone. We're not really going to have to deal with any more freaking boneheads for a very long time, which is very refreshing. If there's one thing I could say is that Old Arkovia feels like it lasts longer than any other singular area for most of the game, and that's not an exaggeration. Maybe you feel differently, but for me it's like every time I... Case in point. Every time I go through here, it's like it never ends. There's always more skeletons. Like, if you like skeletons, this is the best place for skeletons. Come on down to Old Arkovia for used, new, and designer skeletons. If you want a skeleton, we have a skeleton for you. Big skeletons, tall skeletons, small skeletons. All skeletons. We have every make and manner and model of skeleton you've ever dreamed of, and things you can't even imagine in our skeleton lineup. We've got skeletons you've never even heard of. Yeah, hold on. Let me let me put the portal there. Let's all together. Let's breathe deep. Hold it for 10 seconds. Ooh-sa. We're out of the bone zone. We can relax. Everything's gonna be fine. We no longer need to fret about skeletons. The skeletons are behind us. Doesn't it feel great to get out of that dingy, dark, skeleton-filled undercity sewer area into the bright, dusty, shiny, vaguely barn-smelling Broken Hills? The faint odor of a petting zoo. Where all the animals are off of their meds that normally keep them sedate in the existence that they have at the petting zoo. Which, I mean, is kind of dark when you think about what a petting zoo is. It's kind of like, man, you know, all the magic flies right out the window whenever you learn that every single animal in a place like SeaWorld is on heavy, heavy, heavy antidepressants. Like, all of them are medicated. And a lot of zoos, too, from what I understand. A lot of the animals are medicated. It just kind of ruins the whole thing. It's like, yeah. You know? I mean, I'm not exactly like an animal rights activist kind of guy. I'm not like a PETA guy, but... You know, don't ask me about factory farming. You're not going to like my opinions. That's all I'm saying. But, like, you know, I feel bad for the animals in SeaWorld, particularly, because that's just... Yeah. I'll stop. That's way too depressing. That's, like, way, way, way too depressing. But, yeah, that thought comes to mind and just sits with me for a minute. Like a spider in a public bathroom stall. So if you remember, we're supposed to kill that one ghost lady's daughter? Question mark? Lutra? And we last were here, and I opined that doesn't it make... Because the harpies, I don't know if it was... I can't remember if I found the note yet that showed it, but the harpies basically came from the women of Arcovia who were pregnant or impregnated during the time that the Arcovians still had like flesh. All of them who got pregnant or were pregnant whenever the thing happened, the great curse was put on them. Their children, whenever they came out, were harpies. And they would like leave them out in the Broken Hills to basically die, thinking that they would die, and they didn't. And from what that lady said, it's kind of weird to think of a harpy as anything other than... Because normally in fiction, a harpy's like... sometimes a harpy is like... not Dragon Age, that's a different game. Dragon's Dogma, harpies kind of have almost a siren, like mixed in with the siren, and I think they're not the only... I don't think Dragon's Dogma is the only fantasy setting that does that, where harpies are kind of given the role of almost a siren of the land, where instead of luring sailors to their doom, they lure like people in the mountains and in you know, rough terrain like the Broken Hills. Like you wouldn't call the Broken Hills mountainous, right? You'd call these like Badlands, but you get what I mean, that they're almost like land sirens. That's not uncommon, I want to say. I mean, I can at least think of one game where that's the case, and I can think of at least... I think there's a King's Quest game where that's the case. I watched a Let's Play of years ago. I think that was the case. I think it was like King's Quest 6? 5? 7? Something like that. But I've never, like, seen harpies as an undying, timeless creature once they reach adulthood. Almost like a... Like, consider, like, the concept of a vampire that was born a vampire kind of thing. Like, they reach adulthood and then they never age. Like, I don't think I've ever heard of a setting in which, like, in Grim Dawn, that's kind of the case. Especially not in association with a curse of undeath. Which again, doesn't that kind of make these harpies undead adjacent? Kind of the same way that like a werewolf is technically undead, or that like a vampire is undead. I mean, I get the vampires' hearts don't beat, but werewolves do, and they're kind of considered undead, so... You know? That kind of deal. Also, my ear's acting up. Ah. Q-tip time. Legal obligation to tell you not to do it yourself. Don't do it. If you do and you get injured, it's not my fault. You know what's actually scary is that I considered getting one of those water things, like the water cleaners for your ears and for your nose, until I read about one lady who had one of those water sinus cleaner things that had an amoeba in it that ate her freaking brain. And it's like, yeah. I think it was an amoeba. It was either an amoeba or some kind of bacteria. Point is, it was like a single-celled organism that grew in it that ate her brain. And it's like, you know? I'd rather just have the problems. It's like those commercials for medications where it's like, you know, do you have problems with Crohn's disease? Here, take our medication. Side effects may include, you know, like... side effects may include rubber bones. Sore butt cheeks, like, just all manner of weird and awful stuff, up to and including, like, death by whatever. It's just like, yeah, I'd rather just, you know? I mean, I don't have Crohn's, but I'm just saying, if I did, I would like to think I'd rather just live with it than deal with that. Like, holy crap. Side effects may include rubber bones, chewing chalk, strange cravings for electrical outlets. Like... Anyway, this is Lutra. An area boss. not a skeleton, notably, so this fight will not take 70 years. And we can kind of just sit here and deal with it. And yeah, I know if you look at this, it becomes clear why some of the bosses, they quote-unquote need ads. I would rather have this than the ads, because with the ads, it doesn't make it more interesting. It just makes it this with annoyances, right? Like, if you want to make a boss interesting, just making it spawn endless crap doesn't make it interesting, it just makes it annoying. I'm just not a fan of that. Again, I don't mind if there's one, maybe two, like that. I mean, again, even Dark Souls 2 had that kind of boss, which was the Royal Rat Authority, the Royal Rat Vanguard, which one? And it was neat. Once. Imagine if in Dark Souls 2 every boss was just a Royal Rat Authority, where it was just a boss that summoned an infinite amount of a lower power version of itself. Like imagine a Dragon Rider Knight or Dragon Slayer Knight, whichever one it's called, like a Dragon Rider guy. You know, the one with the great shield and the halberd, and he just summons a bunch of dudes that are like little versions of him with great shields and halberds, and every time you kill you kill two of them, they just come right back. Yeah, that would stink. No one would like that. Okay. Right, I want to look at how close 2 levels, technically 2 1/3. Journeyman's Pack. By the way, I really love the way the Broken Hills look. I just love this area. Oh, here's some those trolls from earlier, but instead of in the swamp, they're here in the Broken Hills. We're gonna see a lot of them from here on out. I think we more or less covered the area. Did I get the... Well, I got the one of the Steps of Torment. I could have swore there was a Broken Hills. Oh, don't tell me it's in that. I want to say it's not. I want to say it's not in that. Hold on, I guess I need to look it up. Arcovian Undercity, level 3, Steps of Torment, and then Barren Highlands. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Magnificent. Superlative. I am going the wrong way. Alright. Ah! Here it is. Okay, pal. He was coming right for us. Where's that owl at? Oh, here it is. Just 2 more. Oh, crap. Gonna have to cut the video soon. I know you know, but you know. A verbal reminder to myself, of sorts, and to you. So that's kind of the gimmick of this area, other than the fact that when it gets dark, it gets dark. It gets stupidly dark. It's somehow darker outside at night in the Barren Highlands, or rather the the Broken Hills, whatever. It's darker outside at night here than it was on the inside of an ancient sewer system. But the gimmick, yeah, is basically that there's harpies and they'll swoop down from seemingly nowhere to ambush you at seemingly random spots. They're not actually random, but at seemingly random whenever you first go through your spots. I don't know, I just kind of like the whole area. It feels open, it doesn't overstay its welcome, the enemy types are cool, the gimmicks are cool. Like, the waves of harpies trying to come kill you is cool. Now, I want to make it clear, because it may have came out the wrong way, that I actually do like the Arkovian Undercity, and I do like the undead, with the exception of how the Skeletal Priest's healing works. If the Skeletal Priests did, like, a set amount of healing, I wouldn't, like, it would be one of my favorite areas of the game. But the fact that they don't is what kind of takes a big old steaming dump on it. I'm not saying it's bad, I'm just saying it could be, in my own opinion, like, way better if that wasn't the case for the Skeletal Priests. You know? You're free to disagree, you know, but I'm just saying that doesn't make it a bad spot of the game. Here's Elsa.
Watch your back. Trust no one.
So she says, "You don't smell like one of Cronley's gang, or you another from Devil's Crossing then? If your name is Elsa, then a mutual friend is looking for you." And she says, "I can only assume you mean Mornay. Idiot nearly got me killed out in old Arkovia. Bandits got us in the night, drawn to his darned fire. They tied me up and dragged me back towards their camp, probably to share me with the rest of the gang. Shame for them, they weren't very good at tying knots. I slit their throats while they slept and made off on my own." Well, I can't blame her, but I can blame her for this next part. "Why didn't you return to Mornay?" "Well, I thought he was dead, but knowing he's back in Devil's Crossing makes me even less inclined to return. He's not a bad man, but I can't stand to have him fawning all over me like a replacement for his dead wife. He believes there is some great romance between us and refuses to accept that I have no such feelings." I don't know what the deal here is. Like, I don't know if there's some kind of discontinuity in writing the plot for this, but if you remember, Mornay makes no... He doesn't, like... He's not exactly shy in saying that Elsa is like his daughter to him, not a replacement for his wife. He's not romantically interested in her at all. Like, this just comes off... This doesn't even come off as like, oh, she's a butthole. It comes off like this isn't... This feels like half of this quest was written, and then the other half was written later, and then the first half was rewritten, without the second half being rewritten. Does that make sense? Like, I don't like this, because it makes this character seem like a bad character, whenever, I don't know if this was the case or not, but it comes across to me like that. Like, they forgot to rewrite her dialogue with Mornay's dialogue, because it just doesn't make sense why she would think that he is trying to, like, make the moves on her or whatever, whenever he straight up tells you it's about her being like a daughter to him, not being a, you know, replacement wife or whatever. But also, regardless of that, she straight up tells you that, she says, "It might be better that he believes me dead. The last thing I need is a lovesick fool pursuing me through this hellish world." And I'm not going to ask her what she can tell me of the area, because it gets super dark super quick, and I'd rather not. Especially not at the end of the video. You can if you want to play the game, and yeah, it gets real dark. For now, I'm going to cut the video. Be right back.